What if I told you that the way back to her heart has nothing to do with chasing her? They're 5 stoic moves that bring her back, not by pleading, but by becoming the man she regrets walking away from. If you're watching this, you already know she's slipping away, or she's gone. You tried talking, explaining, fixing, but it only pushed her further. She doesn't respond. She looks at you like a stranger. But deep down, you still believe there's something there. Let me tell you the brutal truth. The way back to her isn't through her. It's through you. If you're serious about becoming the man she can't ignore again, comment, "I'm the prize." Before we dive in, make sure you check out our other channel, the Stoic Tribe Mindset channel. It's packed with powerful daily mindset shifts, mental toughness, and stoic wisdom that sharpens you from the inside out. The link is in the description. Number 1. Focus on your purpose. You wake up thinking about her, scrolling through old texts, reading between the lines, looking for any sign that she might still care, that she might be thinking of you too. But deep down, you already know the answer. You feel it in the way she moved on, like you were never even part of her story. And the worst part is, you handed her the pen. You stopped writing your own chapter the moment you made her the center of your life. The moment your world began revolving around her validation, her replies, her reactions, her presence. And now, with her gone, you feel like your identity went with her. Like without her gaze, you're invisible. And that's exactly where she wants you. Lost, wandering, dependent, forgettable. And let's be real, you let it happen, not because you're weak, but because you forgot who you were before her. Before the late night calls, the shared plans, the empty promises. Before she started pulling away while still keeping you on standby, just enough to make sure you didn't move on. But now you're sitting in the wreckage of your self-worth, trying to figure out how to get her back, when the real question is, how do you get you back? Because chasing her doesn't make her respect you. Building you does, and it starts with a brutal truth. You didn't lose her because you weren't enough. You lost her because you stopped becoming more. You made her the destination instead of staying on the path. And now that you've been discarded, downgraded, maybe even replaced, you've got a choice. Spiral into shame or sharpen into focus, because a man without purpose is a danger to himself, to his future, to everyone who ever believed in him, and that includes you, because when you disconnect from your mission, everything else collapses. Your discipline, your health, your ambition, your peace, your power. And if you ever want her to feel you again, not through messages, not through desperation, but through undeniable presence, you must first become the man you were too distracted to be while she was around. The man who wakes up early with a plan, who gets stronger physically, sharper mentally, more dangerous intellectually, who builds, who executes, who no longer waits for someone to choose him because he's too busy choosing himself. Because he realizes she left not just because of what he did or didn't do, but because she no longer felt led. She stopped seeing the direction in your eyes, the hunger in your habits, the fire in your pace. And that's what women chase. Movement, vision, something greater than them. Because no matter how much they say they want love, what they actually crave is a man who is going somewhere, and you weren't going anywhere. So she left. And now you sit in the silence thinking about what to text. But there's nothing to say that will ever make her feel what your results will. So stop rehearsing lines and start rewriting your life. Rebuild it without her in mind. Stop trying to win her back and start trying to become someone no woman can forget. Become so locked into your grind that you don't even notice when she checks your page or stalks your stories or hears from a friend about your glow-up, because by then you won't care, not out of revenge, not out of ego, but because you'll be too busy, too fulfilled, too focused. And that energy is magnetic, it's rare, it's irresistible, not because you're faking confidence, but because you earned it, because you suffered and stayed silent, because you cried and still trained, because you were abandoned and still built, because you had every excuse to break down and you chose to level up, because you found your path again and followed it with rage. And now every step you take is a reminder to the world and to her that you're not to be forgotten, that the man she walked away from isn't the one standing here now. This version of you is unrecognizable to the past, untouchable to the petty, undeniable to the world, because this version isn't waiting, hoping, texting, refreshing, begging. He's dominating. And if she comes back, good. And if she doesn't, better. Because you no longer depend on her eyes to see your worth. You see it every morning in the man you've become, in the goals you're crushing, in the energy you radiate, in the peace that's no longer attached to her attention. And this is what purpose gives you. Not just results, but respect. Not just progress, but presence. Not just healing, but hunger. And if you're wondering where to start, you start by doing something hard today, something uncomfortable, something that reminds you of your power. You write down one goal, break it into 5 steps, and take the first step before this video ends. No more waiting for clarity, no more asking for permission, no more tying your future to a woman who couldn't even handle your lowest point, because the man you're becoming now isn't chasing her, he's chasing legacy. And trust me, when you do this right, you won't need to send a text. She'll feel the shift in the air, the pressure of your presence, the weight of your comeback, and even if she never says a word, deep down she'll know. You were never the one who was lost. She was just too blind to see the gold before it was refined. And now that the fire has shaped you, now that the dust has cleared, you're no longer a man searching for love. You're the man becoming the standard. And from that place, he's no longer just a man trying to win her back. He's a man who doesn't need to. And that's exactly what the Stoic relationship blueprint was built for. This isn't another cliché self-help guide. It's a timeless blueprint forged from Stoic principles that will shift how you see women, relationships, purpose, and most importantly, yourself. It's not just something to read, it's something to live. And now, the audiobook version is finally available, so you don't need to sit and highlight pages to grow. You can listen while walking, lifting, running, driving, feeding your mind with the exact insights that make you unshakable. Imagine hearing every principle, every life-altering shift, right in your ears, wherever you are, building the future version of you with every sentence. It's linked in the comments. Once it's yours forever. No games, just pure undiluted wisdom you can return to any time. Number 2, control your emotions. You think being emotional shows her how much you care, but it doesn't. It shows her you're out of control, and no woman wants to feel like the man in the room is more chaotic than she is, because the second she becomes the emotionally grounded one in the relationship, the attraction dies, slowly at first, then all at once, and you didn't even notice because you were too busy apologizing for how you feel, trying to explain your sadness, trying to convince her that your breakdowns meant love. But in her mind it meant instability, it meant weakness, it meant she needed to protect herself from your energy, and that's why she pulled back, not because she didn't love you, but because she stopped feeling safe with you emotionally. And you don't get that safety back with more emotional outbursts. You get it back by becoming a man who doesn't need to be understood in every moment, who doesn't need to vent to her like she's a therapist, who doesn't crumble when plans change, when she goes cold, when life doesn't give him what he expected. Because deep down what she needs is to feel that you can carry weight, emotional weight, financial weight, spiritual weight. And if you're the one constantly needing reassurance, if you're the one pacing the room wondering why she didn't text back, if you're the one overthinking her tone, her silence, her mood swings, then you've already handed over your power, and she feels it, she sees it. She may never tell you directly, but it changes how she looks at you forever. And you don't fix that with flowers or essays or begging her to communicate more. You fix that by becoming composed, calm, clear-headed under pressure. And that's not something you fake, it's something you build, and it begins with understanding that your emotions are not her responsibility. Your emotional regulation is your job, and when you make it hers, when you expect her to fix what only you can fix, she starts to resent you, even if she says she understands. Even if she holds you in the moment, something inside her knows she's with a man who hasn't yet built his emotional core. And that core is built in silence, in solitude, not in the comment section of some relationship guru or in long-winded texts she won't fully read. It's built in the gym when your body is screaming, but you finish the reps. It's built when you get rejected and feel the sting, but don't lash out. It's built when you want to cry to her, but choose instead to breathe, reflect, and then respond with calm clarity, because emotion isn't weakness, but undisciplined emotion is. And there's a massive difference between a man who feels deeply and one who's ruled by how he feels. And most men don't know the line until it's too late, until she's gone and he's left analyzing every moment, every text, every argument, wondering what he could have done differently. And what he could have done is learn how to sit with discomfort without reacting, how to observe before speaking, how to stop being triggered by everything she does and doesn't do. Because once she knows she can trigger you at will, you've already lost the frame, and now you're just dancing to her rhythm, reacting to her silence, chasing her validation. And no woman is drawn to a man she can puppet emotionally, even if she says she wants vulnerability. What she really means is she wants a man who understands his emotions, but isn't a prisoner to them. A man who cries, but not in front of her every time things get hard. A man who hurts, but channels that pain into building something, not into guilt, tripping her for not being who he hoped she'd be. And this is where most men fail, because they were never taught emotional discipline. They confuse being expressive with being respected, and respect doesn't come from emotional transparency. It comes from emotional integrity, and that means being able to feel every ounce of heartbreak, abandonment, disappointment, and still show up with composure, with strength, with direction, because the truth is, she might test you again. She might come back and try to see if you're still reactive, if she can still pull you into drama, into long debates, into insecurity, and you have to be the man who no longer takes the bait, not because you're cold, but because you've grown, because you understand now that your peace isn't up for negotiation, that your focus doesn't bend to her moods, that your self-worth isn't tied to her response time, because when you become that man, she feels it. And even if she doesn't say a word, she knows the dynamic has changed. She knows you're no longer chasing her approval like oxygen. You're living from a deeper place, and in that space you become the kind of man who doesn't just attract women. He commands respect, not through force, but through internal power, and that power is built in the quiet, in the shadows, in the moments where everything inside you wants to scream, cry, reach out, explain yourself, and you choose not to. Not because you're repressing, but because you understand that emotional mastery isn't about suppression. It's about timing, about strategy, about knowing when to express and when to stay grounded. And most men have no strategy. They're just reacting, spiraling, collapsing into neediness, and they call it love. But love without control is obsession, and obsession without control is repellent. And this is why so many men lose women they thought they'd marry, because they think emotion equals connection, when what she really wants is polarity, the grounding force, the stable tree when her winds start blowing. And if you can't be that, she will find someone who can, or worse, she'll start treating you like the emotional one, the weak link, the liability, and even if she stays, the respect is gone. And once respect dies, so does attraction, so does loyalty, so does intimacy, and you're left wondering why she no longer looks at you the same, why she's distant, irritated, disconnected. And it's because she's already grieved you, because in her mind, you were gone the moment your emotions began controlling the dynamic, and she might not tell you this, but she's thinking it. And now your only move is to reclaim control, not over her, but over yourself, to rebuild your internal world so deeply that no external behavior can shake you, to wake up and check in with your own energy before checking her status, to make your daily disciplines so solid that even when pain hits, you don't flinch. You keep building, you keep growing, you keep evolving, and when you do this right, she'll feel it before you even speak. She'll see it in your eyes, in your pace, in your tone, and even if she doesn't return, you won't need her to, because you will have finally returned to yourself. And that version of you is the only version worth becoming: calm, composed, unbreakable. Number 3, set unshakable boundaries. You keep wondering why she doesn't respect you, why she ignores your messages, why she gives you the cold shoulder for days and expects you to be waiting when she feels like coming back. And the truth you don't want to admit is this: it's because you've shown her that you're available for disrespect. Because every time she disrespected your time, your values, your standards, and you let it slide, you taught her that your boundaries are flexible, that your self-respect can be bent as long as your desire for her is high enough. And women learn fast, not with words but with patterns. And the pattern you've shown is that no matter how badly she treats you, you'll still pick up, you'll still explain yourself, you'll still hold space for her mood swings and confusion. And she knows this, she counts on this. She doesn't even see it as malicious anymore. It's just her new normal with you. And now, you're not a man to her. You're an option, a backup, a placeholder, and you put yourself in that role because you never made her feel the edge of your boundaries. You never made her taste consequence. You feared losing her more than you feared losing your self-respect. And now you've lost both, because every time you swallowed your discomfort to keep the peace, every time you smiled while dying inside just to be the understanding guy, you buried the part of you that was born to lead, to command, to draw a line and mean it. And that's the part she was originally drawn to, not the agreeable version you morphed into over time, but the version that had direction, clarity, backbone. But when things got serious, when her tests came, and they always come, you flinched, you folded, you softened your stance to avoid conflict, not knowing that in doing so, you were slowly killing her attraction, because no woman wants to lead a man. And when you make her the emotional authority in the relationship, she starts to resent you, not consciously, but biologically, and it shows up in her tone, her distance, her attitude. Because what you think is being easygoing, she interprets as weakness. And the only way to flip this script isn't with words or desperate declarations, it's with boundaries. Hard, clear, non-negotiable, and the moment you set them, everything changes. She might push back, she might test you even harder. But what she's really checking for is consistency, because boundaries without enforcement are just empty wishes. And enforcement doesn't mean yelling or threats. It means action. You say, "This doesn't work for me." And if she crosses that line, you step back, not with emotion, but with certainty. You don't fight, you don't argue, you just disappear from that space. And when you return, if you return, it's on your terms, not because she begged, but because your standard was met. And that standard has to be real, not based on what makes her happy, but based on what keeps you in alignment with who you are becoming. And if she can't meet that, she's not your partner. She's your test. And most men fail this test because they confuse affection with acceptance. They think if they say no, she'll leave. But if she does, she was already half gone, because any relationship that dies when you start respecting yourself was never built on love. It was built on your ability to tolerate being walked over, and that ends now, not by talking, not by pleading, but by resetting your entire approach. From today forward, Everything you do needs to flow from a place of internal alignment. If you don't like something, speak it. If you feel manipulated, exit. If she ghosts you, do not chase. If she tests your patience, breathe, hold frame, and return stronger or not at all. And this is going to require reprogramming everything society told you about relationships, because they teach you to cater, to compromise endlessly, to make her the queen while you play servant, hoping for crumbs of affection. But this isn't a fairy tale. This is reality. And in reality, the man who commands loyalty is the one who makes it clear. Love is not unconditional if it means self-abandonment. And once you start living this way, people will feel the shift, not just her, everyone, because a man with boundaries is rare, and rare is valuable, and valuable men don't beg. They build, they walk with clarity, they hold themselves and others accountable. They don't need to raise their voice because their presence speaks. They don't need constant validation because they're already validated by their own code, and that code is sacred. It's written in the decisions you make when no one's watching. When she tests you by canceling last minute, by flirting with other men, by disappearing emotionally, and your response defines the entire future. You either tolerate and spiral, or you tighten your grip on your standards and rise. And even if you lose her in the process, you win, because you regain yourself. And once you have yourself, you never chase again, not because you're cold, but because you're clear, and clarity is what separates kings from pawns in this game. So write your code, draw your lines, and understand that the only reason you feel disrespected is because somewhere along the line you allowed it. And that ends today, not with drama, not with noise, but with quiet power, the kind that makes people think twice before crossing you, the kind that radiates from your eyes when you say no and mean it, because now you don't need to prove your worth, you live it. Number 4, upgrade your circle. You sit there thinking the reason you feel stuck is because of her absence, because she left, because she's talking to someone new, but the truth is far more brutal than that. The real reason you're stuck is because your environment reflects your past, not your potential, because the people around you keep pulling you back into who you were instead of pushing you forward into who you could become. And if your circle isn't forcing you to level up, then it's keeping you down, and you know it. You feel it every time your so-called friends encourage the distractions, the mindless habits, the laziness, the victim talk. They tell you it's okay to grieve forever. They say, take your time, but that's code for stay where we are, because the moment you rise, you make them uncomfortable. You become a reflection of what they're avoiding, and they won't say it. But they'd rather have you broken and relatable than healed and unrecognizable. And if you think that doesn't affect your recovery, you're wrong, because proximity is power. And if the voices around you aren't elevating you, they are programming you to settle. So now you have to make the decision most men never have the courage to make, to walk away from familiarity and into alignment, to stop sitting around guys who still complain about women they let ruin them years ago, who make excuses for why they haven't done anything with their lives, who blame their jobs, their families, the system, anything but themselves, and you call them friends. But they're anchors, not allies. And as long as you stay tied to them, you'll keep feeling stuck. You'll keep waking up with no fire, no urgency, because when no one around you is moving, standing still feels normal. But it's not. It's decay. It's death with your eyes open, and the only way out is up. And up requires isolation first. It requires you to be willing to walk alone until you find a tribe that doesn't need to be convinced to build, that doesn't need to be begged to get serious, that doesn't flinch when discipline is mentioned. And if you don't know where to start by cutting off the noise, the group chats full of gossip, the late-night calls that go nowhere, the people who always say, let's link, but never actually grow, because every second you waste with them is a second stolen from your future self. the one you say you want to become. And if you're serious about becoming him, your circle must reflect your values, not your history. So write down who you want to be, in detail, the man, the lifestyle, the energy, and then ask yourself, who around me lives even a fraction of this standard? And if the answer is no one, then you're in the wrong rooms. Because if your circle isn't forcing you to think bigger, move faster, act cleaner, then it's reinforcing your lowest standards. And she, the woman who left, she noticed this. She saw who you surrounded yourself with and subconsciously judged you for it. Because women don't just choose a man, they choose his ecosystem. And if your ecosystem is full of mediocrity, of gossip, of passivity, she will emotionally check out before she physically leaves, because she knows a man is only as sharp as those who sharpen him. And your crew wasn't sharp. It was soft, reactive, insecure. And now you're left wondering why she lost respect. But look around. Who were you becoming under their influence? Were they encouraging you to chase purpose or distraction? Were they celebrating your growth or tolerating your stagnation? And if they weren't building, they were draining, because every interaction is an exchange of energy, and you've been leaking yours in conversations that don't matter, with people who don't grow, over habits that don't align. And now it's time to sever that pipeline, not because you hate them, but because you love your future more than your past. And this is the shift that changes everything. Because when you start surrounding yourself with men who demand your best, who don't flinch at accountability, who compete in silence and win with grace, everything rises. Your language, your standards, your habits, your thinking, your posture, and suddenly you're not begging for her attention anymore. You're too busy building with a crew that sees your greatness before you even realize it yourself. And now she checks in. She feels the shift. She wonders how you became this version of you without her. And the truth is, it wasn't without her. It was without the versions of you who kept you small, who kept you dependent, who needed her to feel whole. And now you're whole without needing anyone. And that energy is unshakable, unbothered, undeniable. Because when your circle changes, your frequency changes, your identity changes, and what used to attract you now repels you, and what used to hurt you now empowers you. And you no longer settle for validation from people who haven't earned your time, because you understand now that access to you is a privilege, not a right. And only those who challenge you to be greater should have it. So look around, cut the dead weight, upgrade the room, and if the room doesn't exist, build it. Find the mentors, the creators, the disciplined, the focused, because they're out there, but they won't find you in the comments section of her new guy's page. They'll find you in the gym, in the books, in the late-night hustle. And when they do, everything changes. Not because you became better, but because you finally stopped staying worse for the sake of comfort. And now that you're rising, now that your circle reflects your standards, the man she walked away from is gone, and the man you've become, he doesn't chase, he attracts, because he no longer needs to be chosen. He's already chosen himself. Number 5, become a man of value. Being loved for who one truly is sounds noble, but without strength, direction, and value, love fades, respect disappears, and eventually even presence becomes an irritation, because in the real world, love doesn't keep a man in the room. Value does, presence does, direction does, and the most dangerous lie ever believed is that being a good person is enough to keep her interest, to earn her loyalty, to inspire her to stay when things get hard. Because being good without being powerful is invisible, it's quiet, it's tolerated but never truly respected, and once respect dies, so does everything else. The intimacy, the laughter, the loyalty, the depth, it all begins to erode the moment she no longer looks at him and sees a man worth submitting to, worth standing beside, worth admiring. And this shift is subtle at first. The eye rolls, the dry tone, the distance, but it grows louder with time, and before he realizes it, he's being treated like an obligation, not a desire, because he stopped increasing his value, not just in finances, but in discipline, in purpose, in wisdom, in leadership. And he made the fatal mistake of thinking that because she loved him once, she'd stay forever. But nothing in nature works like that. Nothing stays loyal to something that doesn't grow, evolve, sharpen. And that's the painful truth most can't face, because value doesn't mean self-worth in some motivational poster sense. Value means usefulness, inspiration, necessity, not to her, but to life, to purpose, to the world around him. And if a man isn't building something, leading something, becoming something that stretches him, then he becomes the kind of man she outgrows, emotionally, spiritually, physically. And even if she never says it out loud, she feels it in her bones, and it changes how she touches him, how she speaks to him, how she sees him, and eventually how she replaces him, not out of cruelty, but because biologically, no woman stays with a man she doesn't look up to. And that doesn't mean being perfect or rich or famous. It means having an edge, a mission, a reason to wake up that isn't tied to her. Because dependency is unattractive, and the moment a man starts orbiting her instead of his own purpose, she starts planning her exit. Sometimes consciously, sometimes in silence. But it's always the same pattern. And the only antidote is to build value relentlessly, to become so undeniable that even if she leaves, she regrets it. And if she stays, she upgrades too. Not because she's forced, but because she's inspired. Because nothing pulls feminine energy closer than masculine direction. Not control, not begging, but growth. And this means reading every day, not to sound smart, but to become wiser. It means training the body, not for validation, but for discipline. It means setting a vision so clear that no relationship can distract from it, and then executing daily, without applause, without needing credit, because value doesn't beg, it doesn't post quotes, it just wins, and every win compounds, every early morning, every late night, every time he chooses sacrifice over pleasure. The gap between him and the man she left grows, and soon he becomes a different entity, no longer emotionally dependent, no longer defined by her presence, but defined by his consistency, his hunger, his ability to build under pressure. And this new man becomes magnetically attractive, not because he's chasing her, but because he's chasing something bigger. And in that chase he becomes rare, and rarity breeds demand. And now she feels it, not because he reached out, but because energy never lies. And now she watches, curious, tempted, wondering if maybe, just maybe, she made a mistake. But by now it doesn't even matter, because he no longer needs her validation. He no longer cares if she sees his value, because he sees it every time he finishes what he starts, every time he holds a boundary, every time he chooses discipline over emotion. And that is value, not being wanted but being unshakable. And most won't get this. They'll keep chasing, explaining, shrinking, hoping to be chosen. But the few who understand will stop asking for a seat and start building the table, because the man who becomes the table never asks who's eating with him. He decides. And from that place, he's no longer just a man trying to win her back. He's a man who doesn't need to. Most men will keep chasing women and losing themselves in the process, because they never learn the truth. Society wants it that way. They want you distracted, weak, emotional, endlessly pleasing, completely disconnected from your power. But not you, not anymore. If you're still here, it means you feel it. Something's shifting, and that shift needs direction. That's why the Stoic relationship blueprint exists. It's a weapon filled with timeless Stoic principles to rewire how you think, lead, and live. It's now available in audiobook format, so you can start transforming your life immediately while walking, jogging, lifting, rebuilding. And once you